All right, we are starting with part two. We are going to be talking about the too many names, one and two, in this video. So let's go ahead and open that up. I just went to that page right in our Schoology course that had this exercise. It is exercise number 4. So we have too many names here, and then down below we have too many names too. So we will be doing both of those in this video so that we can kind of keep them together since they are generally the same ones, except for they just kind of extend. One extends the other. Okay, so I am going to bring it up into this bigger window. I like doing that. We can kind of clear that because it just tried to run it. That's all it was doing there. So let's look at this here, and then we'll look at some of the other exercises around it. Okay. Write a function called name counts. Name counts will take as input a list of full names. So again, another list. That's going to be the input this time, or the parameter. Each name will be 2 words separated by a space, like David space joiner. Okay. The function should return a dictionary. So we're taking on a list and we're returning a dictionary this time. The keys to the dictionary will be the first names from the list, and the values should be the number of times that first name has appeared. Hint, we will use the split to split the names into first and last. Now we want to add our function here, and we have our test code down here. Okay. So again, start with what you know, and we can kind of add what we need to. So I'm going to do def. I scroll up to get my name of my function, name counts, with our colon, or parentheses, then colon, and then I'm going to put full names as my kind of dictionary or list that it gives you, not dictionary, list that it gives you to start. We are going to return a dictionary. So just like we did in the last video where we wanted to return a list, so we created an empty list to start, we are going to create an empty dictionary here to start. So I'm going to put name dictionary equals empty dictionary with our brackets. Again, if you want to abbreviate this, by all means, I'm just spelling it out. All right. Now, I'm also going to make an empty list for my first names because I want to have that separately as well. And then that can be what I use in my loop is what we're going to do next. So now, because I want to loop over each of these names, I want to do for name in full names, colon, and then names. Now, I have name and names. I hope that's not confusing. If you want to use I here, that's fine, but just know that name and names are different, okay? Names equals name dot split, because I want to use my split method that I can use to be able to split these apart into first name and last name. So then I have each piece separately. So now I'm going to do if names, and then I want my index of 0, because here, full names, names, all that's still a list, which is how I'm able to use my index to get that first portion of the name, okay? In name dictionary. And this is because I want to I'm looping over my full names list. If my name is already in my dictionary, then I want to just add to the counter. If it's not in the dictionary already, I want to add it to the dictionary. Okay, so I'm not doing anything like I want to just loop over my list, which is how I'm able to use this. And then we're kind of taking it from the list and putting it in the dictionary, which is how I'm doing that here. Okay, so if names at index of 0 in names dictionary, because it's not looking for, and I think this was a confusion that I was hearing a lot the other day, it's not looking for names at index of 0 in the name dictionary. It's looking to see if the name at 0 index in the full names list is in the dictionary. Then we're going to manipulate the numbers and stuff like that from there. So just keep those kind of separate. We're doing dictionary on one side and then the list on the other, okay? So if name at index of 0 in name dictionary, we are going to we're going to add to our counter for our name dictionary. And I'm going to have my bracket here, names with my 0 position or your 0 index. I don't want to say position, I want to say index. Plus equals 1. If you don't like the plus equals, you can spell it out. It's all good, no problem. All right, so then I have that. Because what this portion is doing is if it's already in the dictionary, we're just going to add to the counter. Because what it wanted was it wanted the names to see how many times the names appeared. So if it's already in the dictionary, we don't want to add it to the dictionary again because we need to have unique keys. We want to just add to the counter. So we actually want to do that portion first before we check for the other one. So then on the other hand, else, we have name dictionary with our brackets again. Same setup here, but this time we're going to do just equals 1, not plus equals 1, okay? Because we're not taking a value that we already have, we're just adding 1 to it, and then as it's going through each check, if it already has the 1, then it'll just do the incrementer. So I think it's better to do it this way, where we're incrementing first, then checking, or if it's false, then adding the 1. Otherwise, because if you do it the other way, it will just kind of, I think that'll be an error, and you won't get the right value for that. All right, so we have our if else, and now we're just needing to return our dictionary. Return name dictionary. And again, if you have different names, if you have different variable names, all good. These are the ones I just chose, okay? So that's how we're gonna run that, all right? And then we can kind of test it, make sure we have it running correctly. Oops, I have an error. So this is not what I expected to see. I did not expect to see that this was like the first letter. So let's see if I needed to alter something in my program. For name and full names, names equals name dot split. If names 0, in name dictionary equal names at the 0 position plus equals 1. Else name dictionary name 0 equals 1, return name dictionary. Let me see. Let's keep looking and see if we can find this error. Oh, I think I found it. Okay, so this is when I was talking about like this name versus names. I missed an S right here. So please be careful with that too. So when I run this again, we have that. All right, perfect. So you can see how it still worked with name, but we didn't want that. We wanted the full name. So there we go. We have our correct order here. And you can even see like if I were to rerun it, it might actually have a different order. Like this one here has a different order than what you saw here, but that's completely fine. As long as the key and values match, we're all good. Okay, so that is our too many names, the first one. So let's go ahead into the second one. I'm going to leave that one up there for the moment, and then we'll come back to it if we need to. So I'm going to open too many names, number 2. And it tries to run the error just because when you open the link, it like tries to run it. So just, kind of ignore that for the moment. All right. Let's go into this one. Recall in the previous problem, you counted the number of instances of a certain first name in a list of full names. You returned a dictionary with the name as the key, and the number of items it appeared as the value. Modify that code such that instead of having a count as the value, you instead have a list of the full names that had that first name. So it's going to be like kind of a dictionary within a dictionary, or a list within the dictionary. So each key in the dictionary would still be a first name, but the values would be the list of names. Make sure to sort the list of names too. Name this new function names list. All right. So I'm just pulling up my original code here so that I can copy it over. All right. And I am going to actually just copy this over from here. So we're just going to modify it. It said we can modify. So we're going to modify it here, but I'm also going to change up like this to be this, but I just wanted to have my code that I originally had so that I can kind of build off of this one. Okay. So instead of name counts, I'm going to do it name lists because it is a different function name it wanted. All right. So name lists, and this one did the same thing, name lists and name list. So just be careful with that, kind of like my names and name. So just be careful with that. I'm going to keep my dictionary here the same because I have that. I actually no longer need this because I have my names list already as a list. So I don't need my first names here, so I can delete that. All right. And then I have for name and full names. I'm going to keep my parameter the same here. All right. And then I have, this is where we can kind of split it a little bit differently, where I have for name and full names. I am going to change this to first name. And this is going to be still name.split, but instead of splitting here, I'm going to use my index because we already had that list. We're not having to add it to a list already. So this is the change there. Okay. And then I'm going to change here because I already have this split idea here. So I'm going to put if first name right there in name dictionary. So that's all still good. And then I'm honestly just modifying these like little pieces. Instead of doing the number, we're doing the actual name. So I'm going to change this to do name dictionary, and this is not going to be names index of 0 anymore. It's going to be first name. And you can kind of see too that this was a similar structure that we had in the last one. We didn't split here. This is where we actually had our iterating variable be name with our index of 0. But since we have that here with our first name associated with it, we can just do name dictionary brackets first name. And now we're not plus equaling anything. We just need to append to our list now. So we have append name. And then we also want to sort it. So we are going to sort the list too. So I'm going to do name dictionary first name again dot sort. Okay, because it did tell us we wanted to sort it. Make sure the list is sorted too. All right. And then on the other hand, we have name dictionary. Again, we're going to put first name here. And then instead of 1, we're just going to put name. And we're going to explain this, okay? And then I'm still going to return my name dictionary. So the reason we did this is literally just like we were just doing with our numbers, but instead of numbers, we're doing our actual name. So instead of having just a 1 here, we're going to add the name to our dictionary, right? So that's how it's going to be like able to sort it with our list and things here, but then we also have the values here, okay? So you can kind of see how I took my original code and was able to modify it into this. And let's test. So let's see if it has our correct stuff. So we're looking at David, and this is the piece for David. We have David Joyner and David Milan, and that's right here. Brenton had Brenton Joyner, Brenton Milan, which is fine. That's exactly what it wanted. All right. And let's see, let's make sure we have, it seems funny. It seems almost like a mistake, but it's actually not for those two that I just picked up. But then the next ones we have Shelba. Shelba has 5 names associated with it. If you remember 5 from the last one, we have Barthel, Crowley, Fernand, Fry, and Odell. Okay, and then Marin, which is Marin Fry. Okay, so now we can see our different names here, and that's it. That's all we have for that one. So hopefully that made it a little bit more sense where we took one and kind of like modified it to get to the next one. And let's go into part 3 now. Go ahead and click on the next video.